Well, hey everybody, and welcome to this week's From the Bench. As always, I'm Stacy Skaggs, and I'm along here with our good friend Scott Kietzman of Linwood Taxidermy over here in Linwood. And today, this segment is for all you guys that are headed out west this fall to Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota, wherever that state is that you cannot transport the deer with brain and spinal column in there. And Scott, how many times did you get this question a year? How to properly bone out a cape?
Probably dozens of times in the fall. Usually just through September and October. It's probably the most frequently asked question.
Now, do you get a lot of people that ask you like a basic shoulder mount, or do you have people ask you how to do the head and everything too? Or is it just a basic one?
Basically, where do I cut it off for a shoulder mount is probably the most frequent asked question, and then second of all is how do I cape it out without cutting the tear ducts and the eyes off?
Okay, all right. And folks, that's what we're going to show you today. Scott is going to run us play by play for everybody headed out west, no matter if it's an elk, mule deer, or a whitetail. This is for all you guys this fall, showing you right here how to do it today from the bench. Let's get to it.
All right. First of all, to answer the most frequently asked question of where do I cut a deer off for a full shoulder mount without ruining the cape. The way I like to see capes received in my shop is with at least about 6 inches of cape behind the front shoulder. Okay, so if you look at this cape right here's the leg. This would be the belly section, obviously, and that's the front shoulder. That would be behind the front shoulder where a heart shot would be. So I like about 6 inches behind there. So if we come right back about into here, that would give plenty of cape for a pedestal mount, a full shoulder mount, a half-life if the legs were attached. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut the cape off about 6 inches back from the front shoulder. So this is the scary part. And there you have. Then go ahead and discard that. I do recommend that you wear latex gloves or some kind of protective gloves. I don't. I do this every day and my shots are all caught up. So I'm an old timer and I choose not to wear gloves, but especially if you're dealing out west, animals, elk and mule deer and antelope, there's some diseases in the animals out there. Probably the best to grab some latex gloves. So we're going to go ahead and start caping this out now for a full shoulder mount. What we're going to do is we're going to start with the mouth. And this isn't too tricky, but you can see the gum line right in there and the bones. There's the roof of the mouth. And we're going to stay right tight to the bone. Right there's bone, right there's meat. So we're going to come along in here and we're going to break all this free. Right tight to the bone. There's the cartilage for the nostrils. Right there, we're going to go ahead and cut that cartilage off. And a sharp knife is key for this. Right down to the skin. And you can see where the nostril is. This is skin right there, bone right there. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the bottom jaw. We're going to stay right tight. There's bone right there, and there's meat right there. And as you're doing this, gently pull the skin away from the bone. So you're gently pulling and cutting tight against the bone. And when you get to the corner of the mouth, you just want to pull that skin away. Now if you can see down in there, there's the corner of the mouth right there. We cut that and separated it from the hide. Right there, and that's plenty enough for your taxidermist to go in and split that and prepare it for a mount. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And there we go. That's the first step. The neck meat stops right here, so that's all the farther we're going to cut it to, is right to there. So we're going to come into here. You can see on whitetails, mule deer are the same way, and elk are the same way also. You can see this pattern right here, where the hair, the little cowlick in the hair is. We're going to follow that pattern right down to the bone with a scalpel. So we're going to come in here and we're going to kind of fluff that up a little. We want to cut as little hair as possible. You're going to cut some hair, but you want to cut as little as possible. So you kind of part that just like you're parting your own hair. You come in here. And you cut that to point A. Like so. And the same thing on this side. Now what you have is a little flap of skin in a Y pattern. Now if you press that back down and look, see how this hair overhangs right there? When your taxidermist puts this back together, sews that back together, it'll flip right down like that, invisible. But for now, we can go ahead and break it free from the antler burr. Gently pulling on the skin. Never pull on the hair. Always pull on the skin of the animal. Never take the hair and yank on it. In case there's some spoilage or you pull the hair out and then you got a bare spot. Always pull on the skin of an animal. Okay, that's far enough for that. And we're going to come down the back of the animal just to where the meat stops. You can see where the hair stops, where the dark hair is, that's the center of the animal. You always want to cut from the inside out. So turn your blade, what would be called upside down. Again, you want to cut as little hair as possible. Now, we're going to come in here and we're going to pop this away from the bone burr, just like that. You'll see the butt of the ears down there, a bunch of yellowish, whitish colored cartilage. That's the butt of the ear. Leave that in there, then just go right along the bone burr. There's that side broke free. Now, what everybody seems to be most afraid of is cutting around the eyes. There's a simple trick to this. There's the deer's eye. If you stick your finger not in the eye, but around the eye socket, you can see my finger right there. My finger poking through. That's the inner eyelid. If you cut right along there, there's the bone of the deer. See how it's almost transparent right there? It's kind of clear. That's where you want to cut. Pop right through there. There's my finger. There's the eyelid on the inside. And go right down to the tear duct. Now, whitetails have a fairly deep tear duct. Right there, their scent gland. You get down in there. Don't be too afraid to cut that. Most good taxidermists can fix it, but you want to leave as much skin as possible. There's his tear duct. See, I cut it a little bit, but that's no big deal. Flip it inside out. And bingo. There you have your detached skull and your cape. Ready to be rolled up and frozen solid. Simple as that. Should take you an extra 20 minutes in the field, 15, 5 if you're a taxidermist. And there you have it. You're all set. Roll it up, freeze it, and take it into your taxidermist.